Welcome now, my fellow tarnished, as we begin our exploration of the lands between. What secrets will we find in the hidden catacombs of Limgrave, the swamps and marshes of Lemuria, the rotting wastes of Caelid? Equip your best summon, ready your smithing stones, as the Jambags Gaming Podcast becomes your go-to dedicated guide for all the best Elden Ring content.
Whoa, Dante. What is all this about? What are you doing?
I've started playing Elden Ring, and I just want to tell people how to do it and talk about it and do Elden Ring stuff because we do Elden Ring stuff because it's a great game. It's really good, isn't it good? Haven't you played it?
No. I played it like when it came out, like 4 months ago. It's old news now. We can't be an Elden Ring podcast anymore. No one gives a shit about that anymore.
But everyone loves Elden Ring. What are you talking about?
Yeah, everyone loved it when it came out, and yeah, there's a few people still watching YouTube videos. But the buzz has gone now. You won't, that's not how gaming works. You don't, talk about the latest thing months after it's the latest thing. But it's like, it's about Stray now. It's about the cat. It's not about Elden Ring.
Cat? No, that cat. It'll die to my blade.
Oh my god, I can't believe you're not playing Stray. Like, it's so good. I mean, you can. Ooh.
Or maybe if they release it on Xbox, then I might play it. But till then, I'm going to play Elden Ring because I finally saved up enough money to buy it, and now I get to actually play it, and it is pretty good.
It's not out. There are very clear rules when it comes to games media and games journalism. Yeah,
rules.
And one of those there are rules that you have to obey, and one is that you've got maybe 3 to 4 weeks to talk about the current popular thing in gaming before it's just pointless talking about it. We did our Elden Ring piece podcast episode like back in March, and yeah, by the time that got out, was borderline like, everyone had already, all the hardcore people had finished it or talking about the next thing. There's just no point. So the only times you can listen to me talk about it now are going to be, if there's any DLC announced. So that's we can talk about it then because people will be interested for a very, very even smaller window, like days. And then you can also talk about it when it inevitably wins a bunch of Game of the Year awards and is back out in media. Or give it another 6-7 months, you could probably start having the edgelord takes to say why it's not as good game and it's not that great, and why, I don't know, Stray with the cat is a better Souls game, whatever. I don't know, just pick something. But you can have that kind of edgelord opinion, and then maybe there'll be when From Software release like another title, we can talk about it again in the context of like
back in the glory days of Elden Ring, and how the mighty have fallen, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, or you could say, before it comes out, best Souls games and From Software games ranked, and you rank like, you'll come up with another edgelord theory that it's not number one, it's actually like not as good as Sekiro because that's probably an opinion someone's going to, I don't know. But that's how game journalism works. You can't just talk about something that's people have stopped talking about. But doesn't matter how much you're enjoying the game.
But it's really, really good. Sorry, it's not about the game or how good it is or anything like that. It's about, I don't know, what the fickle masses are into today, which apparently is cats. Yes,
it's a cat. Yes. So, guys, we got some Stray related news for you and update features on today's podcast. I mean, seriously, listen to this one quick because I really think we've got another 3 or 4 days before that's out, the Zeitgeist as well, and it's on to, I don't know, something else. But
destroy that cat with my great axe.
Well, it's got a gun.
A gun? What kind of cat has a gun?
You are.
Okay, that does sound like it does sound like pretty good, but
yeah, so everyone strap in as we become your go-to source for all things
tarnished.
Stray. Tarnished. And welcome, Jambaggers, to another episode of the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast with my co-host here, Mr.
Dante Rodriguez, and my esteemed colleague, Mr.
Rudy Manchego.
Hey, Rudy, how's it going this month? What is going on with you? What games are you playing? And what have you been up to?
Well, we have survived the great heatwave of the United Kingdom 2022. Well, I mean, the one so far anyway. It's probably going to get worse again. But
oh yeah, I mean, we're still going to tell our grandkids about this one and say it was like an ordeal that everyone kind of lived through and barely survived. And
our grandkids will be like, that sounds like really, really cold because it's like 60 degrees now because the planet's a burnt husk.
What did you do to it, grandfather? Why did you kill the planet?
And we were like, I really wanted that cloud NFT. From Final Fantasy VII. I didn't really care how many rainforests I had to destroy and carbon emissions I had to put out to get it. And they'll be like, fair play, that was a completely worthless digital token.
That seems like a good reason to doom the planet as any, as far as I can tell. So yes.
But so to be honest, we were a bit late with the podcast because of the heat. We just couldn't face being in a small hot room, getting warm.
Yeah, Jambags HQ doesn't have great aircon, does it?
It doesn't have air a lot of the time. We've had to put holes in the wall because we left a cleaner in there to clean up the other week. We thought we'd hire a cleaner and forgot to put air holes in, so that was awkward. 2 days later. But yeah, so we can do that. And also, it put me off gaming. I just couldn't sit down in front of a console until it cooled down. I don't know about you, but
yeah, no, I've spent quite a bit on new games this month, but I haven't spent that much time playing them, just because the console kind of puts out quite a bit of heat. And
PC gaming is definitely out for me as well. My PC is like, it's great in winter, terrible in summer. So
yeah.
But so you got some new games. What have you been new gaming?
Well, I mean, people who have been carefully listening to our intro may have picked up on the fact that I'm now finally just cobbled enough trade-ins together to play Elden Ring.
Stray.
Oh. Yeah. No. I mean, okay. Well, I do have a PlayStation 4, but I'm still waiting for it to come out on Xbox because, current gen and all that sort of thing. Stray does look good, but I'm playing Elden Ring, and it is a really great game. I sort of believe the hype, and I've talked about it too long, and everyone's turned off, haven't they?
We've lost. We've lost our one listener. That's me. I didn't listen to that bit.
You're skipping past it. But I also I picked up the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy remasters, which I'm enjoying playing through. Yes, I wish they were better, but they're I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 3 at the minute, and it's perfectly playable and a nice little kind of warm comfort blanket of nostalgia for me to go down.
Oh, okay. So a bit of old, bit of almost new.
Yeah.
New for you.
I've also started playing the Cloudpunk, which you sort of recommended as well.
I do recommend. It's a nice, very chilled out story narrative based game. It's a walking simulator, but instead of walking, you fly a cyberpunky car through the air like Blade Runner.
Yeah, and it's very, very relaxed. It's like after a long sort of go on Elden Ring, it's like, I need just something just to wind down a little bit from that. So I'll just do half an hour of delivering random packages across a Blade Runner-y city without any combat, which it's been nice.
Yeah, it's good. No, I really enjoyed it. I recently played, I think I mentioned previous podcast, I played City of Ghosts, which is DLC, but it's kind of DLC, but it's kind of pretty much a sequel. It's the same length as the main game.
Okay.
Continues the story. It's not just, of several characters. And really takes the story on from the first one. So if you enjoy it, I would highly recommend it. As DLC goes, it's pretty much it's an entirely new game.
Yeah, if it's substantial as that does sound pretty good. It's good,
yeah. But you don't have to play all at once. You can play the first game and never touch it. It's just the story goes a bit further and it picks up again with some of the characters and themes from the first one. But
awesome.
I don't want to say anything else because it's hard not to spoil that game because a lot of it is the twists and turns of the narrative, which are good. So I will keep them.
Okay, well, tell me about some other games you're playing.
Well, I have been playing. I've been continuing through on the Switch with 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, which is a Japanese kind of visual novel with a few combat bits in it. But it took me a while to get into it, but now I'm really into it because it tells its story in a incredibly weird way, and there's time travel and no one explains what's going on, and you can play it like stories and vignettes in any order with different characters, and you'll see different parts of their story completely out of sequence. So it's kind of cool just to I still got no idea what's going on, but you can just dip in and out of different stories and just do a small chapter and stuff, let it go, and then find out, and then do a bit of little random sort of mech combat in it, which is kind of isometric. It's kind of cool. Other things I've been playing. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on
cool.
PS5.
You finally got that one then.
Yeah, I didn't pay full Sony tax price. I bought it secondhand off Facebook Marketplace for someone that was selling it for a far more respectable £25.
Very nice. Thank you, respectable people.
Exactly, rather than like the 60 odd quid that it's still going for on. I mean, it's been reduced in sales, but it's still over 40 quid for a year-old game. Enjoying that, but I've kind of, again, with the heat, I've been playing that, and I've been started up. This is going to shock you. I've started up on Steam Deck, No Man's Sky. And I'm thinking that may be my go-to. I've got some annual leave and holiday coming up. I may take the Steam Deck and just have a game where I don't do much apart from just wander around and scan things. And
it's a bit like me with Elite Dangerous and that sort of thing. The kind of
yeah, exactly. I don't know why. It just kind of saw the latest update and I just thought, you know what, I actually want to get it. Now seems a good time for me to get into it. So that's what I've been playing at the moment. I've also been tinkering around with some retro games. So I've been playing some old classics like arcade versions of Parodius, trying to go back and play a load of arcade games on emulators. That means that I can actually complete them because it's got unlimited continues because, you know, I'm rubbish at games and designed to make you lose. So, but I was like, I'm finally going to complete some of these games I tried to play as a kid at the arcades. So I've been doing that.
Nice.
But yes, but it's summertime. We've both got holiday coming up, so I'll be taking. Have you got any? You've got some holiday plans going away later in the month. Have you got any plans of? Are you going to take any handhelds? Are you going to take Switch? Are you going to?
Because I bought the Switch about this time last year because I was going on holiday and I just didn't like the idea of having a week without a console. And I'd say I've probably neglected it a bit since then. But I am possibly going to take our sort of mutual super rare purchase that we got the other day and have a go on a Strange Brigade, which
yes,
I'm going to give a go to that one.
My list of things to get into. Yeah, absolutely. Got that very proudly sits on my shelf.
Yes.
So yeah, there's quite a few things. And I will be taking my Switch down as well, mainly because in case it rains, kids can play it. But I'm going to try and get through 13 Sentinels. And also, I might take Strange Brigade. I've also got a couple of sort of... I've got picked up in a previous sale, Doom Eternal, which I know it isn't the optimal system to play it on. But there's something quite cool about playing like Doom Eternal on a handheld. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think it's quite sweet.
Yeah, I didn't like Doom Eternal as much as the first Doom. I didn't finish it all the way through.
Okay, and I didn't really like the first Doom that much. I enjoyed it, and then I got a bit bored of it. So I think this might be too much of the same thing. But
well, it depends because they added in Doom. The first Doom was just kind of killing monsters in a sci-fi setting, whereas with Doom Eternal they've added a lot of like traversal puzzles, like kind of almost like platforming. So that's kind of what made me not get into it as much. But again, it might be the thing that's added into it that makes it a bit more interesting for some people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I found that Doom 2016 was a bit too repetitive for me. What it did well, but I got to kind of like, another room I got to clear out just after another. However, some people love that aspect to it. So each to their own. I enjoyed it. I played that on Switch as well. It was one of the first games I got for the Switch that was released that year because, again, just the idea of playing something like Doom, as I said, on a handheld was amazing for me. Like,
did we play a short demo of the Doom port when we were at EGX for the first time?
Yes. And this is probably a good opportunity to mention that for anyone that does listen to us, that we will be at EGX at the end of September. COVID and all the other things that the world goes wrong, climate change, train strikes. Everything going wrong.
God, everything is shit right now, isn't it?
It is. The world's kind of, poop. But if you are there and you can get there and we can get there, then we would absolutely love to see it. And I'm quite excited because last time I went to EGX, I played a game, indie game that I was really looking forward to. I think I mentioned it was my game of the convention, which was Lord Winklebottom Investigates.
Yeah.
And that's releasing this week.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
On Switch and I think consoles and also on PC. I haven't decided which platform to pick it up. I might take it on Switch with me, maybe something on holiday. But I've got the badge here. So I'm really, really looking forward to playing that because it tickled my fancy, something chronic. And again, it's my one-person team. I just think it's amazing that someone can create something quite inventive and, I'm in awe of such talent. So,
I finally got to play my game of that convention a month or two ago when I got to play Beyond a Steel Sky, which I thoroughly enjoyed as I was expecting to. So,
well, I picked that up on Switch recently as well.
Nice.
Picked up a physical copy. So, part of me wants to try and play through the Beneath Steel Sky again, but I know I won't. It's a long game and it's complicated. But it's another one that's stuff to play. So it's very much a watch this space. What we'll play next time, and I'll probably still not finish either No Man's Sky or 13 Sentinels because they both seem massive. But hopefully, I will have played a bit of the old Lord Winklebottom. So a bit of a mystery sleuth giraffe.
It did look very, very fun. Look like a very, very quirky, offbeat sort of game. Which,
should we get into news?
I think it is news time. We've waffled on for quite long enough, haven't we?
We have, yeah. Let's get into it.
And hello, Jambaggers. Welcome to our monthly news segment from the Jambags, where we talk about all the great gaming news nuggets that you need to know about, don't we, Rudy?
Mm-hmm. That is the nuggety truth.
Nuggety, deliciousy goodness of the...
Juicy peach. No, wait, that's something else.
Can you eat peach for hours? What?
I don't know. Anyway, I'm lost. Go talk about something. Actually,
First news story we have got some great news stories for you this month, including a pretty exclusive interview, don't we?
Wow! I mean, not only myself, but I know some of our listeners. I know that some of the people from the Any Button Gaming website are going to love that we've got this as an exclusive. These guys could not have got this. Just telling you right now. No. Yeah, they do a news site, ab-gaming.com, and it's up to date with loads of news and stuff like that. But they could not get.
They couldn't get this level of guest star. No.
Tell you what, I'm too excited. You tell.
Okay, so we have for your ear holes today. Absolutely exclusive 100% interview with the star of the Game of the Minute, Stray. Hello.
I know, and I am so excited. So we have got the cat from Stray in the studio, and we have got some questions to ask. So first of all, cat. I've got to ask this. What was it like being a star of a video game?
Wow, that's insightful. How do you feel about having the game that's really in the zeitgeist at the moment? The game that's you might say is the Elden Ring of July.
Okay. Ooh. I mean, that's a fair answer, I guess. I mean, all right. Well, perhaps we'll bring it down a level a bit. Perhaps we are getting into the deep questions here for you a little bit too quickly, Kat. Okay, just in your own words, how did they pay you? Did they pay you in cat food or catnip or milk or what? How have you?
Right.
It was okay. Well.
Okay. So. Were there any other kind of great video game protagonists? Any other great video game protagonists of the of the modern or retro console eras that you've based your performance on when you did the work for Stray?
Dante, can I have a quick?
Yeah, I need to talk to you as well.
Right, this. I don't know if it's like one of those like difficult interviews that you see online sometimes with movie stars and stuff. You don't want to be there, but right now he's just licking his balls.
Yeah, no, I don't know how he's kind of getting the angle on that. I'm pretty jealous, to be honest. Are we absolutely sure this is
I'm sure he'll let you lick him if you ask him. Well, I don't know if it's the cat from Stray, but it's a stray cat, and I kind of figured that they look it's the same colour. I mean, it smells a bit different, I'd imagine, but it looks a bit like the cat, doesn't it? I mean,
ew, that's what that smell is. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah, I was sticking up a ball. Okay. Well, look, let's just try and ask a couple more questions, and then you can perhaps shoo him out with a brush or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
This isn't going as well.
Should we call the RSPCA, or is that just going to get us in trouble?
I don't know. Has he got a collar?
I don't want it. It's kind of covered in tick. Let's
just conclude it professionally, and then we'll try and.
Yes. Sorry to keep you waiting, Your Highness. We do have another question for you.
Sorry. We've got to.
Yeah. So, do you think that the Stray game is going to make it to the Xbox platform at some point?
That's
so funny. So
I mean, we all know the answer to that. He didn't have to say it, did he? No. But okay, I've got a cheeky question for you. What would you say if there was, if Dante said there was going to be was going to make an NFT of your likeness.
Why would I do that? I mean, if you would like to scan yourself for my NFT, there might be a scanner in this.
Oh, it's going for you! It's going for you!
It's in this bag.
Okay. That's a lot of scratches. Wait a sec. Shoot! Out you get. Dante's only got one testicle as it is. Out you get. Okay. All right. Anyway, Jambaggers, that was the exclusive interview with the cat from Stray, or possibly just a stray cat.
Do you think I should get this? This looks kind of infected. Should I?
It'll be fine. You don't really need it anyway.
I'll keep
anyway, come on. Let's not keep people waiting. You've got a news story, presumably.
Yes, I absolutely do have a new story for us to follow on from that one. Now, this one's more of a soundbite that we've got from our colleagues over at Digital Paintings, who often make our news cycles a lot of fun to have to deal with. So, our good friend Mr. Rand Morbucks, I don't know if he was in a bar or a coffee shop or just kind of standing in the middle of a town centre or something like that, just kind of decided to shout out into the abyss that basically okay, I'll cue up the recording. It's better that he said.
Yeah, because someone filmed it, because he did kind of make a bit of a scene of himself, didn't he? But I think, if I understand it, someone did as a sound clip, someone took on their phone, so let's just cue that up.
Well, yes, I mean, there is a video that goes with it, but it's too graphic for us to put on the podcast, because he basically does, he pulls his trousers down.
And, he drops trowel.
Okay, so anyway, here comes the audio for you. Right. So, any of you bloody idiots who don't put microtransactions into your games, loot boxes and that sort of thing, are complete bloody fools! And you can lick my ballsack from top to bottom, and tongue my ass a little too.
Oh, good lord, that was a surprise ending there to that audio clip. And I mean, this isn't the first, exec of a large game company to kind of suggest that if you aren't monetizing your games heavily, then you can, as you suggest, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when he was asked for follow-up, he was basically, anyone who doesn't adopt the exact same model of game development, production, and marketing that Digital Paintings does, can suck his big fat wiener and doesn't deserve to be making video games in the first place. So,
I mean, I suppose that is it's a view.
I feel like. I don't know, that they're maybe kind of getting entrenched in their viewpoints, possibly if they're just listening to their shareholders who really like money. They seem to think that's the only really...
No, I couldn't believe that. I believe that they have gamers at heart. I don't. I think that's very cynical. I'd say it's too cynical. I think you need to take a step back from that level of cynicism. Mm-hmm. That's my feel.
Yeah. Well, So I mean, I'll look into it, and we'll keep all our jambaggers posted on how this story develops. If anyone sort of changes their ways, or if gaming is doomed to become a microtransaction filled hellhole for the rest of eternity. But on that kind of positive note, have you got a news story for us, Rudy?
Yeah, and it's going from one disgraced AAA publisher to another, really, which is our good friends over at Ubisoft. Yes, you knew there was going to be a Ubisoft story in here somewhere. But they've fallen on hard times. They've had some lackluster releases, struggled to get some of their titles out the door. There's been some some suggestions that some of the stuff they've released has been filler because they haven't been able to get anything big off the ground. And
they've got that big series, haven't they? There's that one that sort of kind of sometimes performs really well. Who's this based on the that novelist? Is it Andy McNabb or something?
No. It's a Tom Clancy franchise.
Oh, of course,
Ubisoft tend to go. Obviously, Tom Clancy is dead, but like some kind of zombie, seems to be producing games,
still releasing games. Yeah,
in line with regularity. But tables have turned somewhat because Ubisoft have cancelled and publicly cancelled a number of games that they hadn't even released yet. So Ubisoft are going with. So not only is Tom Clancy's Battle Royale, which was going to be released, been cancelled, but Tom Clancy's Tom Clancy game, which was about playing Tom Clancy in a Tom Clancy game, has also been canned. And then Tom Clancy's Battle Royale, which was a Battle Royale where you played a video game as Tom Clancy, who was writing about him playing a video game as Tom Clancy, who's also produced the game.
Yes.
And then also there's Tom Clancy VR experience, where you experience life as Tom Clancy, which, bearing in mind, is dead, just involves being in a box, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of cancellations in Ubisoft for stuff that the fans hadn't even got a chance to say they were interested in.
Well,
because
I think only maybe one or two of those had been announced. Most of those hadn't even been announced. They've already been cancelled.
You know, we knew the Battle Royale, the initial Battle Royale, but the Tom Clancy Battle Royale was, you know, several Tom Clancy's away from a release. So
yes,
we had no idea that there was going to be that top level of Tom Clancy. So yeah, a lot of fans, it's kind of weird for the fans, because the Tom Clancy fans, or the fan, which one presumes is probably the estate of Tom Clancy,
probably.
are kind of like, well, we didn't, you know, we barely knew you. You know, we had no chance to get excited about Tom Clancy game, or Tom Clancy's Battle Royale, because they haven't had a chance, or Tom Clancy VR Simulator.
I think they after the last Tom Clancy game came out that was heavily pay-to-win microtransaction loader, they feel like maybe they can't get away with that again, and they're not going to create it because they don't really want to lick random or bucks balls.
There is a potential that there isn't any ball licking going on as well. So it's a tough time for Ubisoft, and only time will tell whether they'll be able to survive any, you know, buyout offers or anything like that, because they are ripe for the plucking.
They really are. Yeah, this is all this kind of. We haven't had a big announcement about a massive studio being brought in a couple of months. So any day now.
I feel a little bit like, you know, what's happening?
Yeah.
Making this podcast awfully hard, major AAA buyer outers.
Exactly.
So Microsoft and Sony, and
give us something to talk about.
Epic. And, well, mainly it's Tencent now, you know, just buying everything. Probably, except for us. No one seems to want to buy us.
No one seems to want to buy us at all now. No, that's true. Okay, well, I think we've got one last news story to talk about, and it concerns the Sony's relaunch of the Last of Us Part 1 remake, which, as my memory serves me rightly, it has already been remade at least once. Isn't that right, Rudy?
That is correct. It's a PlayStation 3 title originally, quite groundbreaking for the time when it first released in 2013. Then it became an early remaster title on the PlayStation 4 early into that life cycle, and that became the definitive way to play it, bundled as it did with the DLC Left Behind. And now there is yet another remake, which is remaking that game to have it closer to fit the engine and the look and feel and apparently combat and accessibility options of The Last of Us Part 2, which released in 2020. Yes, absolutely. So they're really trying to update that game so that it fits with the sort of current gen. There was talk of them using a different engine for them to remake it. They were going to use the engine from Forza or something along those lines. Gran Turismo, I think, that's
right. No,
absolutely, the Gran Turismo franchise. To give it that, you know, in their mind, because one of the things they felt that was really missing was the high octane thrills of motor racing in a post-apocalyptic fungus world.
Absolutely. And with the announcements from Comic-Con last week, which is nothing to do with gaming, but they talked about it anyway, they have scheduled the remaster of Last of Us Part 1 for something along the lines of 2025, after the remaster of The Last of Us Part 2, which is coming out in 2024.
And then I believe that they're planning to do, which is by that point, the HBO Last of Us TV show will have hopefully be quite far into its run, is they are going to remaster the remaster and remaster it in with the characters from that show, replacing the characters and actors from the Last of Us.
Reskin it completely.
Yeah, completely reskin it and make it photorealistic.
And then cut out any dialogue that was controversial or anything that upset people, and basically completely retcon it so that that everyone likes it again this time. Yeah,
and I think that particularly Last of Us 2, that would make the game about 32 minutes long, which is going to be briefer than its 20 to 30 hour runtime. Or The Last of Us Part 2. So, hey,
it's still going to be like a full price game, and even if you own the old kind of previous gen versions of it, you'll still have to pay 100%.
Oh, of course, and because these remasters are expensive to do, they take a lot more.
I mean, I can tell from the Grand Theft Auto remasters, they put so much effort into that one. I can see why it was totally worth the full price.
But so I think that is the end of our news segment, and on to our next segment.
All right. to the gaming nation.
Welcome everyone to our regular segment, State of the Gaming Nation, and today we've got a doozy of a kind of, it's a thought experiment, I think, from myself and Dante here. So
it is.
What's it about? What's the thought experiment about, Dante? You outline where it's coming from.
So after the news that Square Enix, having their pulse firmly on the fingers of gamers at the moment and what they're into, have decided to launch a range of Final Fantasy VII NFTs. Now, we've talked about NFTs quite a lot on the podcast. It's quite a sensitive issue for a lot of people because of the impact it has on the environment and the destruction of the planet and all that sort of thing. So they thought they would use Final Fantasy VII as the springboard for their NFTs, not really perhaps realizing the content of that game is sort of fairly anti destruction of the world sort of thing. So
yeah, I mean, it's fair to say you play as eco-terrorists who are trying to save the world from evil corporations who are destroying the planet for their own financial gain, with a short-sighted plan that leads to inevitable destruction. So yeah,
it's kind of like life imitating art there somehow, just without any sense of irony or self-awareness.
Exactly. It's really like someone not realizing what game they actually made and what game they got the license to. But it did spur us to think, what other incredibly misjudged game franchises could you tie to massive pop cultural, social or political movements? That you could align the two that would work quite well. So you've got some ideas, Dante. So let's talk about your first idea.
Well, my first idea was that a pro-feminist movement would perhaps misguidedly use the Duke Nukem to launch their Me Too, Duke 2 movement to get that going.
Yes, I like that because famously Duke Nukem is a sensitive character who deals with women's issues sensitively and in no way, disgustingly or sexist. It's a perfect role model for feminist issues in a modern day culture. Isn't that right? I guess.
Again, if someone had no idea what Duke Nukem was all about, perhaps they would use that for their for their springboard onto that issue. Yes, absolutely.
So if someone was trying to promote their stance on women's rights, Duke Nukem would be an interesting role model if you wanted to follow the Square Enix route.
Square Enix approach. If you were going to square it, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the more. I want to throw my hat into the political arena here with my choice here, Dante, which is that I really think that you could promote leftist values, particularly if you're a left sort of party or more radical left, sort of socialists and stuff like that, by using the original BioShock as your role model,
as the game template for how society should be.
Yeah, because obviously, because I think it's very much there, which is in BioShock, it's a very left-leaning game where you fall into it in a dystopia where we're very much, both capitalism and socialism, coexist quite happily amongst each other and have a very good time, I guess. There's absolutely no political commentary about the two ideals fighting out over, of capitalism versus, social activism and stuff like that, and its inevitable destruction of the environment around it. So, it works pretty well, I think. It works pretty well.
Well, I've got another one here, maybe sort of one of these very sort of fascist right-wing groups who are very into kind of white power and all that sort of thing. Yes. Using Mafia 3 as their springboard.
Absolutely, a violent game. These guys are violent. From what I understand, Mafia 3, good music, but absolutely, mundanity, which is probably like most of these guys' lives.
I think it's perhaps a little heavy-handed, but it kind of goes a long way to show you what life may have been like for a African American person in the 60s in America, which is pretty horrific. And
that's the absolute
exactly what they want to think is the right thing for people to be doing.
Yeah. And those are some good choices. I like all those. Other ideas you could throw out there, I guess you could have, I don't know, some, if you were particularly I guess if you're a sort of the Christian iconography, you want to promote that, you could use that with Doom.
Oh yeah, no. So they're very, very kind of pro Christian.
Yeah.
Way of
Although I
looking at the world.
suppose, stepping back, actually, unironically, I could imagine some Christian groups actually using that and going, "Yeah, this is exactly what we envisaged." I don't know, Las Vegas being like, or this is where your liberal-leaning extremes take you into this massive hellscape with big, tall demons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so maybe that one's too close. But
Maybe. I mean, it's a little bit like Scientology, maybe using something like Far Cry to promote their Far Cry 5 with that.
That would be, actually, again with the Christian one, that's also a really good example of perhaps a way of promoting that by having, a complete nutcase Christian fundamentalist with nuclear weapons.
Yay!
So,
yeah. No, I mean, I did hear one which I thought was completely balmy. I don't know how they're going to use this. That like a hemorrhoid cream was going to use Diablo Immortal as a springboard for that particular.
Well, I mean, actually, if we think about it, put it into into context, Diablo Immortal is a massive pain in the arse. So
now I get it.
This could, I tell you what. This is let's knock the state of gaming nation. Let's get our friend Todd on the phone. Let's get in contact with Bethesda. Let's go. Pass on the phone.
I've got his number from.
Okay, yeah. Dial it up.
He's not changed it since we did that community service.
I doubt it. Hey, Todd, Jambags Gaming Podcast here. Yeah. Look, crazy idea, but let me just pitch something to you, okay? Diablo Immortal, using Diablo Immortal to promote hemorrhoid cream, pain in the arse. Diablo Immortal, pain in the arse. What do you think? Just tying those.
Put it on speaker. What's he going to say?
All of this just works.
Oh, hey! Let our people call your people, Todd, and we'll sort this all out, don't you? Yeah, we can. I can. Yeah, this is gonna be good for both of us. Okay,
it does just work, and actually, I'm using some now, and it does.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, right. Well, that's been a pretty lucrative end of the call. Segment. Okay, let's move on to the next bit, Dante. While we're flush from success,
finally selling out. Yeah.
Yay.
State of the gaming nation.
And welcome everybody coming out of retirement.
Dante, what? Right. Why are all these people sat outside Jambags HQ? I'm trying to get the questions ready so we can do the outro for this month's episode. And you're supposed to be helping me, but instead I come out, I can hear this noise outside, and you're out here with a bunch of people. What appears to be... Is that
because the Jambags are branching out.
Wait. Is that a wrestling? Is that a pro wrestler over there?
It is a pro wrestler, 14-time local wrestling champion for the Northern Dagenham area. That's absolutely right. It is Killer Kyle.
He is massive, but Jesus, look at them. No, but seriously, what is going on? Like, we're supposed to be finishing off the episode, and I come out here and you organise a wrestling match, and with a really big guy, you've got no one for him to fight, so that's mad. But
there's a gap in the market now because Vince McMahon, head of WWE, he's left his job in kind of smoke and mirrors and sexual misconduct and all that blah, 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 blah. But now there is someone at the top, and someone who needs to move into that job, who knows about gaming, who can kind of promote wrestling games, who knows how to fight in the wrestling arena, and who knows better than the itchy burning sensation?
Oh God, no, not the itchy burning sensation again.
That's all right with me, the Inferno.
Oh, not the Inferno.
And first up in the ring next to Killer Kyle, it's the Macho Man Ready Rudy. Go!
Oh God, look, no, sorry, Carl, we can sort this out. We can just. We're back. Is it?
He's got the chair, everybody. And it's not one of those fake wrestling chairs. It's like a big wood chair with spikes on it. It's ready to rumble.
My anus. Did we get the job?
No, no one from WWE showed up.
Oh, did you at least invite them?
That's what I forgot. Shit.
And that about wraps it up from another, Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast, where I seem to have been dealt a terrific mauling by people and have needed to be in hospital for a few days. So this has delayed things going out a bit. Thank you very much, Dante, for bringing back our wrestling sense.
When I hired Killer Kyle, I didn't know he was going to kill you.
Yeah, I do feel that the clue was somewhat in the name, and the convictions that he had, and the and the fact that he was wearing that thing around his ankle for the police. But anyway, what's done is done. We need to finish this one off. It's a bit late. I've finally got my larynx back once it's got fished out of my anus. So let's get into what we normally tend to do is we sign these out on some questions, and we've got some great questions from our rather wonderful audience.
We absolutely do. Yes, thank you for sending those questions in. Please, our listeners, feel free to add your own in for our next podcast. We really love to answer any questions that you've got, no matter how bizarre they might be.
Yeah, so let's go from the least bizarre, but probably one of the better questions, all the way through to the frankly ridiculous ones we've got. Let's start with the wonderful Twitch streamer and contributor to Anyone Gaming, Marpacia. I think I got the name right. I think she did say I got the name right last time. She commented on this, to let us know. But with a rather good question here, which is, what boxes should a video game tick for it to be worthy of consideration as a nominee in GOTY? That means Game of the Year.
Game of the Year.
Yeah, not GOTY.
Okay, so are we talking about what happens in the real world here, or are we talking about what we think should be the criteria?
Well, I think it's what we think it is in the real world, what tends to do it. What we think tropes or what things, are present in video games to make sure that it lands on those kind of Game of the Year lists, in November, December time when people start, desperately producing them for clicks. So... being made by FromSoft is pretty much that's a guarantee. Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to get you on the short list.
If you want to be on a Game of the Year shortlist, be made by From Software. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much.
Yeah, that's one of those studios with a diehard fan base. As long as it's a competently made game,
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is when they strayed into VR with Deracine. Didn't make its way, but then it's VR and it's not quite as mainstream. But yeah, if you're a mainstream release, be made by From Software. Boom, Game of the Year nomination. Doesn't matter what it is. You're on there. You're in there. It's fine. You're in there.
Absolutely. I mean, having Keanu Reeves in it, maybe not. Again, has to be a competently made game.
Yeah, it would have to actually be working when you release it. That I think there's a fair few things in it. I mean, having some Pokemon, it seems to do quite well. I mean, if you've got Pokemon, some licensed Pokemon in there, if you've got a fucking snake or something that wanders around, I don't know, that'll do. You got a catcher or something, that seems to get you on instantly get you on the end of the Game of the Year podcast. Even if there's like a game released every year, you're going to be on that list at the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other more practical ways, I suppose, if you can't license that from Nintendo or be made by FromSoft, I suppose. I mean, filleting Jeff Keighley seems to...
I was going to say, who's the guy that does the Game Awards presenting? That guy.
You have a go on him, you'll probably
get out the IGN knee pads and get in front of him.
If you can take one for your particular team, you will be getting a Game of the Year nomination, I think. And probably a slot on his show, to be honest. I mean, the only person who doesn't go through that is Hideo, but he's a special case because he's not human.
He transcends, doesn't he?
I mean, being Hideo Kojima, I mean that's another good way. If you
be Hideo, if be one of those gaming auteurs, which there aren't very many of.
Yeah.
But
it also helps, I guess, if you're a third-person narrative adventure made by Sony. That's a good way to.
Yes, being a Sony exclusive is definitely a good way of getting on to the Sony's Game of the Year list.
Yeah. Absolutely, naturally it's all in there. I don't know, feature someone with mental illness, that seems to do well as well. I mean,
or be about the Holocaust or something like that.
Yeah, be something that's really, utterly
bit like the Oscars, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you're always going to get a nod. Depression, that does well. You're always going to get a good crowd for that, ultimately. And I think that's probably. Can you think of anything else that would,
No, I would. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of fun with this question. I would like to maybe approach it. In an ideal world, if sort of the right kind of hard work was rewarded, not filleting the right people. What do you think should be the criteria for a good game of the year? What would you most like to see rewarded if the world was a just one?
Well, I suppose there's two answers. There's like if the world was just and what the world is more like. So I'm going to go with. I think it would be something where the passion and dedication of the team behind it comes through, regardless of budget. Where you can see that a game is interesting and unique and plays upon its strengths, and it doesn't necessarily have to conform to being a kind of game that appeals to everyone. I think that would be great to get that as a Game of the Year nomination. But ultimately, the way that it will work is that have a cat in it.
Yeah, that's because Stray's going to go right.
And if you need a Stray for your this one won't get out of our studio.
He's not leaving us alone, is he?
He's still there. He's still there. So
it smells so bad.
Yeah, we'll try putting some food out. He's not interested. So he's just staring at us right now. It's kind of off-putting.
No, so I'd like to see innovative gameplay rewarded. A good art style and engaging narrative if the world was a just one. But yeah, pretty much having a cute character do something not all that cute or kind of go through an environment that's not particularly cute and can come out the other side unscathed. Yeah, that's going to get you a Game of the Year nomination, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty much. So thank you, Mampezia, for that wonderful question that we butchered and then eventually answered.
We have another question here, I'd say, from our good friend Metal Shark. Time is counting down, so we may have to repay him for that drink. But his question here, and we're going to be quite clear. I'll explain the question, and obviously we'll make our caveat statement so we don't get sued. But his reporting on after Hideo Kojima was this actually happened. Was misidentified as the assassin of the ex-Japanese prime minister. This actually happened. News outlets used photographs of Hideo dressed up in ridiculous outfit when he's parading some game or something comical to portray that was the assassin, which is obviously very offensive. And just downright, wrong. And obviously, he's, I think Hideo is quite rightly, threatening legal action over that. But it's made Metal wonder, what slanderous misidentifications have you heard about game developers over the years as the game industry's top insiders? And that is true. We have been inside a lot of lobbies of game companies.
We have been inside.
We've been through a few of the bins. We have been. Well, you've been very close to Keanu Reeves before being thrown out.
Breathtaking.
Really, that was breathtaking. So was the expenses bill from the legal costs. But so there's been, there's quite a lot of misidentification that goes on. Some of them are a bit random, so we're just going to go through some of these ones. But here's one for you, right? I don't know if you guys know of, if you know of ex Gears of War developer Cliff Bleszinski. He is regularly, this is an odd one, he is regularly confused as Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit.
And I kind of, by extension, I always thought that Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War looked a little bit like Fred Durst with those kind of beanie hats that he wears.
It's always, see what I mean? You can see where it comes from. You can imagine him with a beanie hat, couldn't you? And just saying and screaming, and screaming into the wind. It's pretty much what Cliff does. So, obviously, again, that's just allegedly. I'm not, we're not making a legal case, just in case anyone wants to get a little bit litigious, but
like allegedly that I heard that Yves Jumeau was mistaken for Pepe Le Pew at some point.
That I don't know who did that, but that sounds like comedy genius. Whoever would would do that. I mean, I suppose it's a stretch. I have heard that Peter Molyneux has been confused many times with a developer that actually follows through on their promises. Whoa!
Not to be confused with the regular contributor Peter Molyneux.
Very different. Peter Molyneux is a you couldn't write a character like Peter Molyneux. It's just impossible. There's no chance you could do that.
Yeah. What about that time Bobby Kotick was mistaken for Satan?
I mean, there is an argument. I'm not making it, so legal teams, but there is an argument from some people that that's not a mistake.
No,
this is one of the forms of which Satan works.
Who's our made-up character and nothing to do with any other bobbies for any other big company.
Absolutely, yeah. So obviously, obviously you've got that going on. Can you think of any more, Dante?
Let's see, and anybody else who was mistaken? Phil Spencer mistaken for the Fonz, great jacket.
Could, yes, very, very, very often. Also, for a laugh, this is a story that you might not know, guys, but after was there for Microsoft for a bit and launched Game Pass, he actually did a stunt at one of the like Microsoft like family days where everyone comes in, summer parties, where he actually jumped over a shark tank on a motorbike. He actually jumped. Phil Spencer jumped the shark there, quite massively, just like the Fonz. Hence why, you can kind of see where the confusion came from.
Yes, yeah. He didn't do himself any favors there, did he? But that shark, that stunt was great. Just not that original, I guess.
No. Another one. This is crazy, but Chris Pratt's been confused with Mario.
He's about to be.
Wow, that's what an insane 2022, eh? Oh, Lord.
Did Bob? I would say, did Bob Hoskins have a problem with it? But he'd have to come back from the dead for that, wouldn't he?
Look, I don't want the
we've
dead.
done that on Jambags before.
Yeah, and I don't want the dead to rise from their graves because obviously that would be chaotic. But it might be worth it just for the corpse of Bob Hoskins to attack Chris Pratt at the premiere.
That's my character, you arsehole!
Yeah, just like, you don't. That's my bloody Mario. Even though he hated being on the film and it was a disaster, it still animates him enough because just the copyright just animated, just gets him up from the dead and comes back.
It's in my contract. No one else is Mario.
And then Dennis Hopper comes back from the dead as well as Cooper.
Man!
And John Leguizamo isn't dead yet, but he'll come back from wherever he is.
I'd say his career might be, but who knows?
No way. He was Bruno in Encanto.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, we don't talk about that, but it's.
I know we joke about that Mario Brothers film. I feel like we should kind of have a Jambags movie session and watch that at some point because I've not seen it in ages.
I want to watch it again. Actually, I think we should. I think when the other Mario films come out, we should do a Twitch stream. Maybe we can join the guys at ABG on their Twitch channel and do a Mario Brothers watch through. But that'd be cool. So yeah, there we go, Shark. Hope that answers your question. Great one as always. In terms of other ideas and other questions, this one's more of a philosophical one.
Ooh, really?
So yeah, it's from first time contributor, but it goes by the name of Ollie S. And he wants to know, now I don't know where it's a connection to gaming, but this seems like a pretty important question and we're well qualified. So, if God can do anything, could he create a rock so big he couldn't lift it?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's maybe not a kind of gaming question per se, but then there are games out there. So some of the very few that were ever kind of released by a certain Peter Molyneux that were considered God sims, God simulators.
Yes. So we're gonna, I'll allow it on this podcast. And it's a question that has literally melted my brain trying to think about it because it's that perfect paradox. If he created a rock so big he couldn't lift it, but he can do anything, so surely he'd be able to lift it. But by being able to do anything, he can make a rock that he couldn't lift. But if he does, I've gone cross-eyed, but it's very much that kind of philosophy. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't want to alienate too many listeners here, but it's a bit like asking if some other fictional character can do other kind of magic things, which I don't think they can. So, maybe best not to ask me this one.
Wow. I mean, I want to just say that Ollie did emphasise that it is a really big rock. Does that affect the conversation at all?
I do not think that God can lift up Dwayne Johnson, no.
That is true, actually. Could you imagine? Do you think that possibly God created Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
to be the thing that he couldn't lift?
To be the thing that he couldn't overcome or lift? I mean, because ultimately, when, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, goes to those pearly gates, and he will, he's going to have a first track pass, obviously, and gets there. If he wants that throne,
I don't think there's any going to be. It's a bit like when Chuck Norris. I mean, imagine Chuck Norris and Dwayne The Rock Johnson getting there at the same time.
I mean, that is. Well, I mean, what we're facing is that biblically there was already one war in heaven. This will be the war to wed. Maybe this is the Book of Revelations.
Maybe
Dwayne Johnson versus
Judgment Day,
versus Chuck Norris. I mean, can you imagine? Just just the eyebrows.
Terminator 2 Johnson Day.
Yeah, the eyebrows versus that kick. I mean, it would shatter the existence, wouldn't it?
It would, and especially if they both had their beards. I mean, if The Rock had that Fast and Furious beard that he has, and Chuck Norris, who, I mean, he always has his beard, but so to answer your question there, Ollie, which is that we think that God already has created a rock he can't lift, and it is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Yes.
And one day he's going to come knocking for that throne, and maybe that was his retirement plan, to build an entity that could defeat God, because it's going to be Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Unless Chuck Norris gets involved, in which case, all bets are off. Who can say?
All bets are off, yeah. Who's going to fight for the soul of the rest of humanity, or lay waste to what's there?
I mean, I don't know. Dolph Lundgren, maybe? I don't know.
Oh,
but even so, I don't think he could compare to those two. Do you?
No, well, it's sort of a generational thing, isn't it? I mean, I guess Dwayne Johnson is this generation's Chuck Norris. And I think maybe Dolph Lundgren was it kind of in the middle there. So there
was a moment where you thought this could be Chuck could be like getting deposed, but never went that far. Never really got put to the test.
No.
So look,
maybe it's like Highlander. Maybe they do need to duke it out, and one is awarded immortality.
But collateral damage on that would be, it would be a extinction level event.
It would.
If they punch each other at the same time. That would be like having like an asteroid the size of, I don't know, like Russia dropped on the world or something massive. It would just boil oceans.
It would. It'd be like if Ultron's plan at the end of Age of Ultron had actually happened.
Yeah, very much. And then the effect would be like Sarah Connor in Terminator 2, that kind of dream sequence is blown away from the powerful force of it. Except for hanging around outside a playground. So yeah, I think that probably I think we've answered that one. Kind of, but so let's wrap this up. So, Dante, where can people get to us on Lay's socials?
On the socials, if you would like to contact with the Jambags crew, please find us on Facebook. If you search for Jambags on Facebook, you will find the Jambags Comedy Gaming Podcast Facebook page. You can also find us on Twitter at Jambags_UK. You'll find the account controlled by Rudy, and at Dante RDRGZJB is the Dante Rodriguez account as well. You can interact with us on there. Same with Instagram. If you look for at Jambags_UK, you'll see the Jambags Instagram page, where you'll see lots of pages, lots of images of my Assassin's Creed character hanging off of genitals from Greek statues and that sort of stuff. And you can also make contact with us on our YouTube page, where you'll see a lot of videos are posted, and you can leave comments on the videos that you'll find in there. I don't believe I've missed anything out there, Rudy.
You have not. And just to get into where you can listen to us, obviously listen to us now, but we can be found on Apple Podcasts. We can be found on Spotify. We'll be found on Google Podcasts now, as well as Stitcher. Or also follow the link on our social media feeds to get us on Simplecast or any good RSS app. We are out there. It is likely you can listen to us on a mode of your choice. And if you don't want to listen to us in pure audio things, you can go onto YouTube, where you can converse with us and you can watch our videos, which are just animated backgrounds, but we have voice animation in there. So you can check us out there if you prefer to. On any platform, if you can, if it's possible, leave a review, a star rating, a comment, a like, subscribe, whatever. Massive help to us. Please do, because if we don't, we've got to somehow pay for this cat that we've got. So
yes, that cat that's, oh my god, it's coming back. It scratched me right in the jam bags. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm coming, Rudy. Yes,
no, come outside. It's still a bit warm. It's still a bit warm in the HQ after the heat waves.
Have they not cleared this?
I just wanted to get a bit of fresh air and just.
What? There's a crowd here again. What's
that is what I forgot to mention. Actually, don't say. But the guy you hired, Killer Car.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah. Well, to kind of get him on day release from.
Yeah, when you signed him for the match, you signed him for several rounds, and as you know, I was destroyed in about 4.5 seconds. So there wasn't more than one round. So he kind of wants to have the rest of the rounds, and obviously, as you can tell, I'm still in it.
Who've we got for this game? I love watching wrestling.
Yeah,
Who's going
well,
in? Who's
it's not
going
going to be me because I'm badly mauled and quite injured.
Still in
So, if you could just put on your spectator spandex for me. It's the best way. It's the best way to watch it. And I've got you prime seats, not just ringside, but actually in the ring.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's trick or treat. So if you could just, there's Carl now is getting in as well, and
why is this cage coming down?
yeah, and Kyle, he is all yours, mate. Yeah, all yours. All right, see you later.
What?
Bye.
Ah!
Bye. Bye.
Not the groin!
Oh.
Not the groin!
Oh, there goes that last testicle. I don't know when that's going to pop back out. And
Don't feed it to the cat.